My name is Ashton, and if you are anything like me, you are getting really geared up for the next year to come. You have all these ideas, you have all these plans, you've been watching other people plan their year, you were looking at vision boards, you were spending far too much time on Pinterest, and you are ready to go because this little voice inside your head says, this next year is going to be my year. This is going to be the year that I finally get it together. I'm going to do all of these challenges that I see on the internet. I'm going to do 75 hard or 75 soft. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Why? Why are you going to do all of that? I'm not saying that it's a bad idea, but I really want you to stop doing what you are doing right now. And I want you to look at this next year and figure out your why. Are you trying to do these things because you actually see yourself doing them? Do they align with your personality? Do they align with your goals? Or do they align with all of the influencers that you have seen already talking about it? There is a theory of identity that it is the construct that you teach yourself through your own personal narrative. For me, this looks like somebody who is extroverted, somebody who is very list oriented, somebody who is very structured, somebody who is a writer. These are all things that I have believed to be true of myself. However, not all of those things used to be true. The reason why I'm kind of bringing this up right now is because there seems to be a little bit of a tendency for us to mistake who we are as a person against the grain of who other people are. We don't really look at ourselves for who we are, but rather who we are in comparison to other people. Back in 2020, I had heard a lot about these ideas of solo retreats, taking some time where you turn off your cell phone and you really just focus on yourself. And in conjunction, I also heard about this plan to write down a day in your life 10 years in the future, to go into as much detail as you can, and to dream big. I have another video on this that you can check out. I will link it below. If I remember, I will link it up at the top as well, where I go into this. But essentially, I took that advice to heart, and I believed that by 2030, I would get every single thing done, and I would be the person who I said that I would be 10 years in the future. I would set goals every single year. It wasn't until 2 years ago that I even really started working on that. So that would have been 2023. Yeah, 2023. I started even really working towards that. I was just kind of living through life, saying, well, one day I'm going to start working on that, one day. And I was just getting kind of further and further away from what I thought that I wanted in my soul when I was away from social media, and I was really focusing on who I was as a person. In 2023, I wrote my first novel, and that was good. That was the start towards my goals for 2030. And as good as that felt, I started looking at, well, okay, if this made me feel good, what do I need to do in 2024 to really start shaping my life so that way I can fulfill that promise to myself that I made in 2020 for 2030? Because really huge separation between who I am and who I want to be. And that's kind of what I'm encouraging you guys that are listening to this to start thinking about. What would you do if you removed this desire to follow the influences of other people? What would you do if your goals for next year looked more like, I am going to wake up X amount of times to write. I'm going to wake up X amount of times to go running. I'm going to make sure that I just get out of bed on the weekends early. So that way I'm not wasting away. I'm going to spend time before work, before school, actually just focusing on myself, like turning off my cell phone until I have had an hour to myself to not be influenced by anything else around me. I'm going to do whatever else that I need to do to start building the discipline that I need in order to be the version of myself that I want to be 10 years from now. Because as fantastic as all of the pretty images that Pinterest can come up for you, as much as you might want to follow that rabbit trail of being a Pilates princess, who else got that on their Spotify Wrapped? Sorry. But as much as those are cool and great, what could you also be doing that contributes to yourself? One thing that might be very good for you is to do shadow work to kind of figure out the things that are holding you back. Because frankly, nobody cares about you except for you. Whatever it is that you decide to do this year, it might make you look on trend with other people. It might make you seem like you fit in, but ultimately, if you aren't doing the things that align with who you are, then why does it even matter? Like, seriously, what are you doing? I would encourage you, before you start to make all of these just like random plans that just sound cool because everybody else is doing it, to ask what you need to do for yourself, because you're not really doing yourself any favors if you were just blindly jumping into things. And you also aren't doing yourself any favors if you are trying to go straight off the bat doing all of these things that you have never done before. Like, I'm sure that there are success stories of people doing 75 hard, even if they have not gone to the gym before that, or if they don't really read nonfiction, which is part of the challenge. But that but for most people, that like initial inertia where it's exciting that it's January 1st and you are going to do this, you are going to taper off. Most New Year's resolutions fail fairly early on, and it's because you are setting up goals based off of discipline that you don't even have. I would encourage you, if these are the things that you actually want to do, if you are trying to radically change your life, start with baby steps. If you want to do 75 hard next year, fantastic. Do 75 hard. But maybe don't do 75 hard if you have spent the last like 4 months of this past year sitting on your couch doing absolutely nothing. Your body's probably not going to like you very much for doing that. Your brain's not going to like you very much for that. Your brain's going to ask you, why are we doing this? And all of the habits that you have built up, which, by the way, whatever you are choosing to do, whether it is a conscious habit or not, is still a habit. For example, I used to come home from work and take a nap. That was a habit. I didn't mean to it. I was just very tired, and eventually my body associated, I walk through the door, I take a nap, even though I didn't. I pushed through that. That's no longer a thing that I do. I used to say that I hated mornings and that I would never wake up early in the morning and that wasn't for me. And then I heard really great advice that the first hour of your morning is for you to do whatever you want to. Just don't turn on your phone. Don't engage in social media. Go watch TV. Go play your video games. Make a good breakfast. Go for a walk. Do whatever you want to do. Just get off of your phone. It's for you. And now I am okay with mornings. I still don't love mornings, but I'm okay with mornings. Anyways, the point is, if you want to be the person who is able to do all of these awesome things for next year, if you want to do things that are so challenging and outside of who you are right now, you need to start looking at yourself A, with patience, B, with understanding when you fail, and C, with a mindset that it's okay if you fail, just so long as you learn how to persevere. So before you start trying to go out the gate doing all of these massive changes at first, I would really encourage you to kind of find a routine that works for you. Do just 1% of what you want to do and start there. Build up on a momentum so that way when it is time for you to work out twice a day, when it is time for you to sit down and read, you are mentally ready to do it. You have the fortitude to do it. You have the habit to do it. You have the desire to do it. And you have the discipline to do it. Because all this desire that you are building up right now in your head, it really means nothing if the discipline is not there. In my next video, I'm going to be talking about what I did to make 2024 a year where I really started to embrace all of these things that my narrative told me that I could not do. How that led to me doing some very scary, brand new things, how it involved risk, how I lost 25 pounds, and how I am going to be accomplishing not one, but 3 major life goals this year. And how I'm really hoping that in 2025, applying these same principles, I will be able to do all of that and so much more as I really try to build myself towards 2030. So if you're interested in hearing what I think might be a very nuanced way of challenging yourself that I've not really seen elsewhere, please hit that subscribe button. And I will see you next week for a new video. Thank you for watching, and I hope that this was more encouraging than discouraging because I believe in you, babe.